this is Arunava Chaudhuri and you are on my YouTube channel Arunfoot. On Monday, September the 1st, saw the latest hearing in the Supreme Court of India in regard to the case of the All India Football Federation's new constitution. And what I saw on Monday, once again, on one side makes me very, very worried, because the understanding, I've spoken about it multiple times on my lives or in different videos, that this is where the law of the land stands. Above it is the law of sports. And there were multiple lawyers representing different people and entities who spoke about the fact that the current All India Football Federation should be removed by the Supreme Court of India. Meaning that Kalyan Chaubey as president, the other office bearers, plus the executive committee are dismissed by the Supreme Court of India. And to me, that was and is the most dangerous thing that is being proposed by these people, because that clearly to me means world governing body FIFA will have to step in and will have to enforce a ban on the All India Football Federation as well as Indian football. Because if the Supreme Court makes a judgment and says the current All India Football Federation, as per the Supreme Court, is no longer the official body to run the affairs of football in India, that is the perfect example of third-party interference. And this once more shows to me that we have an issue in regard to governance and understanding of sports governance in the judiciary and amongst the legal experts. Why? And I ask this question, I've asked this question and will ask this question again and again and again. Why aren't there sports governance experts involved, first of all, in drafting the new constitution, and secondly, implementing whatever is needed at the different levels to ensure that Indian football falls in line with global best practices in regard to the statutes and the regulations of the sport set by FIFA as the global body and the AFC as the continental body. Simple. Why? Because the legal gentleman and the lady who was talking today don't seem to understand that basic fact. We go back to that again and again. And now the Supreme Court seems to be stating that they have their judgment ready in regard to the new constitution of the AIFF. But after the information for the additional Solicitor General of India, K.M. Nataraj, that the National Sports Governance Act of 2025 will at least take a month to most probably 6 months to take effect, meaning that the new AIFF constitution should be following the new act, that then will the Supreme Court have to wait with its final judgment for another 6 months? But we have the FIFA and AFC deadline of 30th October. By then, the new constitution needs to be announced by the Supreme Court. It needs to ensure that it is FIFA AFC compliant, and it needs to be ratified by the All India Football Federation. What comes first? Because to me, one thing is very, very clear. The current AIFF was put in as an interim body. Maximum of 6 months, as far as I know. I've heard other people talk about 3 months. I knew that it was in for 6 months. That was totally forgotten once the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup happened. But the question now is, how can we follow procedures to ensure, one, we have a new constitution, two, the constitution follows the statutes and regulations of FIFA and the AFC. 3, it is accepted, cleared by the All India Football Federation's Executive Committee. And 4, that the current AIFF steps down and you can hold elections to elect a new body which follows the new constitution, which itself follows the statutes and regulations of FIFA and AFC, as well as the new National Sports Governance Act. But there's a problem because that act will be challenged in court. So will that take even more time? So to me, the learning from Monday, September the 1st was and is, we've moved a little bit closer to a FIFA ban. That's a reality. And on the other side, the other big talking point was the order was reserved on the tender in regard to replace the Masters' Rights Agreement of the AIFF and FSDL. And the Supreme Court's bench does not want the big 4 consulting firms to lead in that process, but accepted the suggestion from the amicus to put Justice L. Nageshwar Rao in charge of that, on top of looking into the AIFF constitution. And therefore, I don't know, you don't know, we don't know if the time frame of getting that sorted till October 15th is realistically possible or not. If you're going to have a tender, corporates, companies, maybe even individuals apply for the commercial and for the media rights, or maybe jointly as a package. There are too many loose ends, and the judiciary is taking its own time, can be understood. But I once again say, and I can once again only request the Supreme Court of India, look into this matter in a way that it can be dealt with quickly, but also on the other side, that the governance part is ensured. Because if the governance part is a mess, Indian football is potentially going to go into a mess. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? You've got anything else to add on this? Write those things down in the comments below. And as always, like, share and subscribe Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias. Visit arunfoot.com. And I'll be back very soon. So Arunava Chaudhuri signing off. Bye for now.